The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 198. Today's date is Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. If you're out there in the live chat, welcome. If you're new to the chat, new to the channel, this is your first time, then we always like busting cherries. So go ahead and leave us a comment out there. Tell us it's your first time and where you're from. We'll give you a shout out. If you want to ask a question throughout the chat, go ahead and tag myself with the @ sign and Ghost Tactical or anyone on the panel, and we'll try to get to those questions. If you want to call in, yes, you can call in. Call or text into the show. Utilize a Ghost Tactical hotline presented by our good friends over at sportsmansguide.com. That phone number is 530-364-4678, and it will be scrolling throughout the show. If you are a veteran, or really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole and you're starting to question where the light is, or you're starting to question if there is a light, first of all, please call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I sure as hell could probably be a pretty decent ear. But if you are looking for someone that could get you some help and get you to the path of some medical attention, please remember two things. One, you're not alone. You got a lot of brothers and sisters out here that are willing to help. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So contact the Veteran Crisis Hotline. It's actually for anyone. It's a crisis hotline. But if you press 1, it'll get you to the veteran side of things. But the Veteran Crisis Hotline, that number is 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255, the Veteran Crisis Hotline. As always, we're spotlighting the United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions and want to find out more information on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, check out the website marines.com. And we are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. It is a great place where a lot of great podcasts are like-minded, pro-gun, pro-2A, pro-freedom. If you guys are looking for some great podcasts out there, check out selfdefenseradio.net. Let me get this off of my ugly mug and say hello to the crew tonight before we get going. And we'll shout out Mandatory Carry out there, $2 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. He says multi-tool, and that is going to be something that we discuss throughout the show. But thanks again for the super chat, guys. You guys know that we do not ask for super chats. We do not encourage them. But if you feel like you want to drop a couple bucks, remember that all super chats on this channel go towards sending care packages overseas to our troops downrange. So thank you very much to Mandatory Carry. And yes, multi-tool will come up probably. Let's say hello to the people that are out there. Let's see if I see anyone that's new. Jason Stewart's out there, and big congrats to Jason. I think Jason this past weekend went to go take his concealed carry permit class. So welcome to the club. Welcome to the dark side. Rogues out there, Buck's out there, shot with Buck this weekend, zeroed in a couple optics with him. Looking forward to shooting more with him as always. Artac and Daughters is out there. Mandatory Carry's out there. Let's see here. Who else is out there? Who else? Clover Tech's out there. MKJO's out there. I think I said Rogue. I don't know, but I'll get ready to say hi to him anyways. But I think I said Rogue's out there. Andrew Carmichael, he says, can we just stop tourniquets being a thing in first aid? If you need to ask, do I need one? You don't need one. That's a fair question, and we'll get to that as well. Mandatory Carry says the light at the end of the tunnel is a freight train. It's headed my way. I hope you're just joking around, but if you need someone to talk to, bro, you've got my email. I think got my number, whatever. Give me a call. I'll love to talk with you. Jason says first time listener. Well, since he's been a born again 2A Christian. There you go. Let's see here. Mentality of Guns is out there. I don't remember that one. If you've been here before, I just don't remember that name. I think I remember that name, but what's going on? Nice to have you. RL's out there. Keith Gregory's out there. EJ's out there. EJ's on the Facebook side. Holy cow! Well, let's give Facebook a little shout out. South Paul's out there. RL $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, what happened to all the self promotion? I just don't give a shit anymore. So there's that. Jason Ewing's out there. Warsaw's out there. If I miss anyone, I apologize. But like I said, if you're new, especially if you're new, F&H is out there. Drew's out there. So Drew from Mean Arms, what's up, homie? Looking forward to seeing him in the next couple months. That'd be great. And Mentality of Guns says, first time viewer here from San Bernardino, California, behind enemy lines. I love it. I love it. I love it. Appreciate you. Jason says, Semper Fidel's brother. And I think I am caught up. So let's bring in our guests tonight. We've got from I think it's a pretty great state. I don't know. It's at least a really good state. But out in the Big West, I think it's a Big West or is it Big Sky? I think it might be called Big Sky. I can't remember. But Montana, we got the Rogue Banshee. What's up, Rogue?
Hey, man. No, it is the Big Sky. And Big Sky is awfully warm right now. But yeah, I'm doing good here. And it's great to get on the show. I don't get a chance to drop in this show that often, but I'm glad to be here tonight. It's going to be a good one.
And all that. Drew says, did you see our new bearing delay 9mm from Eric's Range Day? I haven't yet, so call me, homie, or I'll call you maybe tomorrow afternoon and we'll talk. Yeah, go check out Mean Arms. Mean Arms got some awesome stuff out there, really some innovative stuff, and they're really, really good people as well. So go check out Mean Arms. And from the great state of Texas, my home state, the tactical virus, Leprechaun himself. What's up, Clove?
All right, so I'm gonna be that guy real quick. For all the people out there that talk smack when Texans have cold weather, snow, freezes over, suck it up, Buttercup. That's all I gotta say. Suck it up. Ain't nothing but heat. Ain't nothing but heat. You'll live. Suck it up. There you go.
Yeah, if you don't grow up in Texas, then, depending on where you are in the state of Texas, at any given time of the year, you could have 4 seasons. But I grew up in the concrete jungle of Dallas, and 109 on that concrete was the real deal growing up. And I guess we just got used to it. I guess we just get used to the heat growing up. But now I live in Arkansas, and it's more humid here because of the lake and all that over here. But yeah, man,
crazy. We were talking the other night, and it wasn't as hot here as it is in other places, right? Some of these other people freaking out. It's not as hot. But here's the thing: the humidity here is unfreaking believable. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is usually we're about 4 to 5 degrees on average, probably cooler than where you are. And the other night we were on the phone and it was like 92 or 93 here that day. And it was like 89 or 90 down there. And I was like, what? It was crazy, but yeah, the humidity is strong here. It's not like Louisiana humidity, but it's pretty strong here. And I'm assuming up in Montana, there's probably very little humidity up that high in the mountains. So that probably helps a little bit.
There's almost no humidity up here. That's the one thing that's great. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast and just outside of Philly, and you had 100% humidity on 100% days. It's like you walk outside and you just turn into a sweat ball. Here, it's just you walk out like that's a little warm.
It is. RL says heat, humidity, it all sucks for fat guys like me. F&H says got him a PSA AKP with the SB A3 brace a while back. Nice. Jason says Washington State has been very hot. hot at night to sleep. That's the thing is, it's usually, let's say 92, 93 is kind of like what our probably average is for the summertime. And it gets down to about 72, 73, maybe 70 at night. So it's not cool enough to open the windows up, which if it would get down to like in the 60s, I'd open the window up at night, but it doesn't during the summertime. So last year, so my wife, she wants to keep the house like in the 77 degrees. Like that's where the island girl, that's where she's happy. I'm sweating. She's freezing if it gets below 77. And I'm sweating balls. And so last year she got me like a little clip-on fan. You plug into the wall or whatever, a little clip-on about that big. And I put it like on my nightstand. I put it right on my head. So when I sleep at night, I've got the fan going. That's the only way that I could survive. And I like it cold. Like if you could hang meat, I'd probably be pretty happy when I sleep.
Yep.
I don't care during the day, but at night I like it really, really cool at night.
So weight loss tip, your body burns more calories the colder you are because it has to stay warm. So actually it being cold at night, you can actually burn calories while you sleep. Fun fact.
Thanks, Richard Simmons. Appreciate you. Yeah. That's, and I didn't know that, but that's a great thing to have. So yeah, we, man, it's this time of year, it's the dog days and it's getting ready to be the dog days. If they're not already here, it's getting ready to get lit up, next week. So yeah. Luckily, we very rarely here reach 100 as far as the actual temperature. We'll get to like 96, where with the humidity, it feels like 108, 109, 110. And that's always fun. But yeah. So now Delray brings up something we actually are looking at. It says you should get those dual mattresses that are temperature controlled for each side. So those things are freaking expensive as hell. That being said, I was looking for something. And they have like it's kind of like a pad, if you will, that it goes on top of your mattress. You can have whatever mattress you want, but it's like a little pad. And it's, you plug it into the wall and it holds it's like a 3-gallon thing of water or whatever. And you can fill that pad up. And it's a king size. We have a king size, but it'll be like both sides are separate, where I could put water on mine, and then when you turn it on, you can kind of temp control the water temperature. And so it's kind of like a little pad that goes underneath the sheets and all that, but it can keep it cool or hot. So we're thinking I'll get one of those. And yeah, I'm too cheap, honestly, to get one of those dual control mattresses, but I can go and spend maybe a couple $100 to get one of these water controlled temperature pads that goes on top of the mattress that might do the exact same thing. So she could be happy. I've actually tried to say, hey, can we just put it down to like 72 and like put your electric blanket on your side and I'll be fine. You be fine. Turn the electric blanket on and I'll be cool. But no, that doesn't work. So it's what it is. It's what it is. We all know who's the boss in the house. It's not me. Not me. Anyways, let's see here. F&H. Let's take this one. Anyone use the dog death grip shooting tripod? I got the carbon fiber model for $200 at Midway. Haven't used it yet. I did play with it though. I have not. Any of you guys, whether it's the bog death grip or any tripod, I'm assuming he's talking about like the stand-up tripod that you hook up the rifle to. I don't particularly like them. I've seen a couple of them over the years, but I mean, that's just me. But I don't do a lot of precision shooting that I would probably need one of those either. So have you guys ever used one of the tripods?
Nah, that's not the type of shooting I do. So I've always seen them and I always thought they were kind of cool, but I look at it and go, I just can't drop any money on that because that's just not the shooting I do.
Yeah.
Fog is good stuff. And, yeah, that death grip, I mean, you can go from standing to prone.
Oh, you can lower it like a normal tripod?
Well, it doesn't lower the legs. And Mr. F&H can correct me if I'm wrong, but the legs will articulate out. You know what I'm saying?
They'll just go out. Okay. Okay.
So that, the further the legs go out, obviously the lower it'll get,
Sure.
Right? And so you can literally...
So it's not like a camera tripod where the legs will go up and down. It's just
spread
the legs out and it drops.
Yeah, so it's like imagine a camera tripod without the braces and the center post in the, you know what I'm saying? You know, you got the 3 legs and then you got that center post and everything's braced. Imagine that, but get rid of all those braces where the legs articulate independently.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just go over here real quick to the
but yeah, Bog's good stuff. I don't own anything Bog, but I have been on many hunting trips that I've used somebody else's Bog stuff.
Okay, yeah. It's just like pretty much other tripods that I've used and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, for me, it goes from 7 inches to 6 feet. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good buddy out there up in Idaho. What's up, Rod? How you doing, my man?
Rod. Say hi to Shelly.
Say hi to Shelly. Hope to back down south. You got to let us know and we'll try to hook up or something. Maybe for NRAM or USCCA or whenever it is you guys get down here. So, yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about something that it's for me. It's always fun, but this is something that
gives me a rash, but to each their own.
It is. I get it. And a lot of what you say and do, I get the hives and all that. So that's why we get along so well. Is we have zero in common. Just kidding. We have a lot in common. It's just a lot of what we enjoy doing are completely different, which is kind of interesting. That's why we have such good conversations on the phone, bud. But yeah, one of the groups on Facebook, like I said, I'm a lot of concealed carry EDC groups and all that. We'll get a lot of questions out there. Snob says first, we can start now. So now that Snob's here, we'll start getting into the topic. Thank you, bud. But one of the questions they're talking about different is, so I'm new to carrying and all that. What are some items that we should be looking at? And I started thinking, well, we've done that. We've done that a lot. But the EDC loadout, because I think when people think EDC loadout, they think on their person or they think, whatever, but there's a lot to go into EDC and it might not necessarily be firearms and all of that stuff. Because it's called everyday carry. It doesn't mean you got to carry a gun. So I put a poll out there this morning and let me refresh real quick and see, we are up to 262 votes. And I said, what's the most important item you have in your EDC loadout? Knife is at 16%. Gun is at 66%. Tourniquet at 2%. First aid kit at 8%. And a light is at, get rid of that.
That's
and
horrible.
A light is at 7%. 7%.
It's horrible.
So, well, go ahead. I was going to say, what do you guys think of that poll? And I only put 5 things out there. I figured that gun was going to get it, but I was a little surprised.
Why? Why? It's like, first of all, who died and made EDC all about defense? Guns. Right?
Absolutely.
I use things every day that I need to carry that have my life doesn't depend on them. I don't need them to defend myself, but I need them every freaking day. Now, knife being one of them, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it boggles my mind, and it makes me wonder if people are just, it's people's perspectives, right? I get it. But it's like, should people stop and think? And I mean, that's the value of a podcast like this, is to discuss these things and think about it. But, what are the odds you're going to use that firearm?
Yep. And that's the thing.
And that's your most important. Really?
2/3 of the 260 some odd votes were firearm. And I probably should have, I almost worded it saying, aside from your firearm, what would be, because I knew that firearm was going to be the big one.
But I'm glad you did, because that gives us insight,
Yeah. Whether or not people are actually, these numbers are truthful or not, it makes no difference. But knife is 16%. A little IFAC is 8%. A tourniquet's 2%. 2%. I thought maybe a little bit higher. I guess maybe I was hoping it'd be a little bit higher. But light At only 7%. Is something that kind of surprised me. I honestly thought that light would be second place behind gun. I was surprised that knife wasn't, but the 16% to 7%, that's a big gap between knife and light. So yeah,
I would think knife and or light would duke it out for first, and then the other one be second.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, for me, especially with my day job, a knife is just so critical because, we're opening boxes, we're cutting twine, we're doing all kinds of other things.
The knife is just self-defense. You pull this out, you can do all sorts of stuff with this little thing right here,
Well, and for me, the reason why knife would be number one is not necessarily just because of the utility of a knife, but if you're in a car and you're in an accident, you are not going to cut your seatbelt away with your gun.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually use my knife to get out because I can cut the seatbelt away. It's got the glass breaker in the back that I can punch out a window. To me, it's just such an overall utility that why would that not be the first thing I think of?
Yep. And that's something that we talk about all the time, that's with weapon mounted lights and all that, but this is the Streamlight Wedge, and it's a little bit big for pocket carry for me, but I am carrying it right now to kind of see before I do a review on it and all that. It's a great light, just not the size of, my favorite EDC light is the Streamlight Micro USB. Great little light, about that size, perfect little light, a little bit big, but it's a good light. But one thing people tend to forget, that a light's not just to be able to see with and all of that. This, especially the lights they have now that are LED, these things can be weapons in themselves in self-defense. If you're 5-6 feet away from someone and you feel them coming at you and you shine that right in their bright light in their eyes, I'm not saying they're going to stop and fall down and start crying, but what they will do is stop for a second, turn their head, shield their eyes, and that gives you time to get the hell out of Dodge or move, or at least if you have to go to your gun at that point, that few seconds for them stopping and going, oh my gosh, that gives you time to draw, maybe find some cover, whatever the case may be. But a light can be used as a weapon as well. Because we're talking about everyday carry, and Clover brings up a great point. What are the odds? And do I carry every single day? I try to. There are times and situations where I know I'm going to be somewhere that I can't carry there, and I don't want to leave it in my truck. So there are times that I may not, but here's the thing. I can carry a light with me anywhere, no matter if I'm going to meet the president. That light is not going to be, I can take this on an airplane, no matter what. A light can go anywhere with you at any time. So be thinking about the outside the box. But, and Clover was saying, like, what are the odds you're going to have to use your gun? I hope to God we never do. Put it to you this way, if I have to draw, things are getting ready to get really bad, because this is just me, and I'm not speaking for anybody else. If I draw, I'm not drawing to see what's going to happen. If I have to draw, I've already sat there and said, it's time, and we're getting ready to go crazy. I'm drawing and shooting. That's the last side of the fence. So I have a knife. I have this. There are a lot of things, but that's the whole point. When it comes to EDC and everyday carry, everyone, I think, or most people, especially in our little community and all that, in our lifestyle, EDC straight goes to defense. And that necessarily doesn't have to be the case. I know that.
Well, the one thing about a flashlight is that you can de-escalate with a flashlight really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you pull a gun or a knife, things escalate pretty quick, and it's a lot harder to go backwards at that point. Yeah,
I'm going to say hi to my buddy Hans out there. Hans is here from
a lot harder to go
Hold
backwards.
On here. I need to
at that point.
Pause this because he's been having trouble with commenting. So I want to find out if he has possibly been blocked or banned or something on YouTube. So Hans, if you can go over to the YouTube side and try to comment on that side, I'll try to see if it shows up on my feed or not. And maybe you're blocked by one of my mods, or
it was my fault. It was my fault. I probably did it.
Well, he said he's been trying to do this for a long time and has never, he can go, he's logged into, he actually showed me this weekend, and he can comment on videos, but when he goes to one of our live chats on YouTube, not only can he not comment, he can't even see the live chat. So it's kind of strange. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, Clover, I know that you were unmuting a couple times throughout my little rant and spiel. So you have anything you want to bring up and talk about?
Well, just not to, so that we don't, I don't want to gloss over with, what I said about the firearm and how I don't understand why a gun would even remotely be number one. But let's also make no mistake that your firearm and probably the tourniquet are the two most important things that if you need them, you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a life or death thing if you need it. Now the odds, both of them odds are high. You're going to, or low, I should say, astronomically low that you're going to need them. But the need for them is going to be extremely high should that situation present itself. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hans says, I see you live, but no comments from anyone. So I don't know. That's weird.
Maybe well, he's on the Facebook side. There's probably nobody on Facebook.
No. He's on YouTube. Like when he goes, he wants to go to the YouTube and be involved.
That's why he's on the Facebook side.
That's why he's on the Facebook, because he can't comment. Not even can he comment. He can't even see comments from anyone else on the YouTube side. So it's really strange. What's up, 223? Grim, the Tactical Reaper is out there. G23 is out there. Anyways, but yeah. So that's kind of something that I want to talk about is we're going to talk about on-person carry, off-person carry, whether it's vehicle, EDC bag, whatever it is. So I'm going to start with Rogue and say, Rogue, aside from cell phone, keys, wallet, the stuff that we're all going to grab no matter what, cell phone, keys, wallet, watch, whatever. What are some items, and it doesn't have to be every day, but typically on a day when you leave the house and you're going to go out and spend the day out at work or wherever out in town, what are some items that on person that you try to keep on you?
Well, I try to keep a flashlight. First of all, knife is always with me because there's sometimes I don't carry a gun. I carry a knife. I carry that flashlight that you're playing with there. And I agree that's a hard pocket carry, but I carry it in my back pocket.
That's where that's where I'm having to carry it right now.
I carry a knife in the back pocket. I carry that in the back pocket because I have a Ridge wallet. So my Ridge wallet is actually in my front pocket. So, but it's definitely knife, flashlight, and then I go to whatever gun I'm going to carry. And then a spare mag for that gun.
Okay. Clover, what about you on a normal day when you're going to go and you're going to be gone all day out of town or whatever? Are there any items that are always going to be with you, or items that, depending on the situation, that you have taken with you on an everyday carry?
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to be a light knife, as Rogue said. Now, I'm currently carrying the same light.
One?
I alternate because, we got those for testing and whatnot.
Yeah.
My True Spec pants have a little they got a little pocket off the front pocket that's specifically for stuff like that, and it fits in there perfect.
During the summertime, I'm not wearing my tack pants to work, so that's where I'm going to go with the long pocket.
And the size of that doesn't bother me too much because I'm really used for years and years. I had the Streamlight. I think it's called the Streamlight Stylus, which is like the two AAA size light,
Yep.
which was fairly long. So, other than that, I mean, not necessarily because I smoke, because it comes in handy, but a lighter. A fire source comes in handy every now and then for other things.
Yeah. Obviously I have a lighter with me, but like you said, it's not just for lighting cigarettes. It's for a heat source very quickly. That you can, if you need it, it's there.
Yeah, we're talking on body right now, right?
On body. I carry also in my right pocket, I carry they're called holy hell, I'm tired. Anyways, they're little small, those molded Decibels is the company, but I got them a few years ago at Range Day. They were giving them away for free. You get them molded real quick at their little booth at the range, and they're just little plugs. They're not electrical or electronic or Bluetooth or anything. They're just plugged, but they're molded. Keep those in there. Why? Because they're small, easy, just in case. You never know when you're going to need hearing, not just for firearms, but you never know when you're going to need hearing protection, all that. Obviously, the knife, and I go through different knives. So there's about 10 knives that I rotate. I don't even know what brand this one is. I like it a lot though, but it's very slender. I like it. So what's up?
We bring up the hearing protection. See, I don't wear glasses, but when I leave the house, and most of the time I'm wearing them around the house because I'm doing things, but I mean, whether it's shades or, I wear my Hunter Safety Gold mostly, which they transition into shades, but
and I always wear glasses in the summertime. I always wear them right up there on my forehead.
Same thing. I mean, not only is it help cut, the sun or whatever, depending on what you're doing, but also if you're, whether you're mowing or trimming, right? I mean, you could be slinging things around that could potentially get in your eyes. So, and then a pen or a marker is another thing too that I forgot about. Some type of writing utensil, usually a Sharpie.
I don't carry one on person typically. I used to, and then I found that I would leave them in my pants or shorts or whatever, and you don't want to wash a pen in your pants. So I started not carrying a pen. I've always got pens around. I got a ton of them in the vehicle and obviously in my backpack, but that's just me. But no, a pen's a good one. Buck,
I mean, a click pen, you talk about, defensive use, a click pen, man. Sure. You could put the hurt on somebody with a click pen.
Oh yeah. Buck says the first thing he grabs a 10mm wrench. It's the only way I won't lose it. There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of the mechanic in him, obviously. Yeah. There's one thing, and it might not be an on person, but we talked about it earlier. Mandatory carry says it, and that was going to be one that if on the poll, if I was going to say aside from a gun and I had another choice, I was going to put a multi-tool. And I personally don't carry a multi-tool on person. I've got one in my backpack. I've got another one in the car. I've got one at work. I've got them all over the place, all over the house. But I know a lot of people, especially if they do use tools or something like that a lot on a daily basis, then a multi-tool is something that a lot of people talk about they have. And do you guys carry one, Rogue? Do you carry a multi-tool every now and then?
I do. I actually off-body carry that on my pack because our data center at work is actually inside the Federal Reserve building. So for me to do that, I have to go through full body scanners and all kinds of, it's almost like going through TSA to get into that bank. But we are not allowed to carry a knife, but I can carry a multi-tool.
Yep.
So I have a knife and the multi-tool plus pliers, screwdrivers, and all that stuff. So I'll carry that off body.
So here is my little backpack that I call my gray man. Well, let's just do this because we're going to start talking maybe a little bit. Anything else we want to? Dad says another one. He brings up a really good point. He said people don't like to admit that EDC is a fluid subject. Depending on your job, if you go to school or you go places where obviously you can't carry guns or knives, you can't legally carry what you want to carry. And that's very true. And that's one of those things where So I want to start with Clover on this one. When you start thinking EDC, like when I say the word EDC, does your mind, because you brought it up earlier, does your mind go straight to defense or things that I might need throughout the day? Maybe not defense, just tools or whatever it is. When you hear the word EDC, where does your mind immediately go to, Clove? Oh, he might be stepped out. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, everything good?
Yeah, rephrase it.
Okay, so if I was to say, what's your EDC? Like, what's important to you for EDC? And you hear the word EDC, does your mind go to self-defense, or does it go to tools that you could use in everyday life?
Yeah, no, that's what I thought you asked, and I'm like, I thought I kind of covered that already.
He wasn't listening. He wasn't listening.
Anyway, no, like I said, my mind doesn't immediately go to defensive.
Right.
Mine goes to what I need.
Yeah.
To comment on that, and it's interesting that you asked that, because that was going to be what I was going to say about a multi-tool. As you know, if I'm in my truck, what do I need a multi-tool for, right? I pop the toolbox and I've got pretty much anything, definitely enough stuff to swap an alternator. So not really a need, but if I'm going somewhere else and I perceive that, hey, might I need that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, I'm going to take at that point, I will likely carry on body a multi-tool.
Yeah. Rogue, going to say the same thing to you. On person, on body carry, when you hear the word EDC, where does your thought go to?
I go to need. And not need of a gun or anything. I go need of tools. And, I talked about the knife, the flashlight, but I also look at my pistol as also being a tool. Whether I need that tool or not on me will decide whether I'm going to put it on. Most times I carry, but not all. Sometimes I don't. So I'll make that decision of I don't need this tool on me, and I just won't carry it.
Absolutely. Now Jason says, I pretty much have everything I need within arm's reach. Even a multi-tool can save valuable time. No doubt about it. Multi-tool is extremely important. So now we're going to talk a little about maybe off person, and it doesn't necessarily mean like truck inside your vehicle. Some people, for the ladies out there, some guys, I don't judge, might carry a purse. I carry a backpack. A lot of people carry backpacks, fanny packs, whatever, to where it's not necessarily going to be on you at all times. But, for instance, the backpack, throw this in the vehicle on a daily basis and all of that, what goes into that. So when you start talking about off-person carry, whether it's, let's just combine vehicle and backpack. When you start talking about off-person carry and items that you might take with you that aren't going to be on your person, now we start probably expanding your list a little bit. One thing I want to bring up before we go into this is something I just thought about. And I know a lot of people do. I don't on person, but I always have some in the car and all of that. But how many people out there, and if you're out there, let me know, something that we don't necessarily think about, but how many people carry like portable chargers for your electronics, or especially just a charging cable? Some people will take a little, maybe a 2-foot cable, wrap it up and always have it in your pocket just in case you're somewhere that you need to charge something. Clover, Rogue, jump in. Do you guys ever think about carrying a portable charger on, not at a SHOT Show or at events, but on an everyday basis, either a portable charger or a charging cable at all? Do you guys ever think about doing that?
So what I do for my car is I have a jump box. So that way, if I ever need to jump and there's nobody else to jump off of, I have that jump box. And on that jump box has 110 and 12 volt and USB. Mm-hmm. So from there, I can do just about anything I need to for, if I need to charge a phone, I can use a regular USB cable, or I can grab the cigarette cable out of the car, and I can plug it right into that jump box. Or if I need to charge a computer because I'll be out in the field and I may need a computer. I can plug the computer directly into that jump box as well and charge that computer. So yeah, I'm pretty aware of the need of charging while I'm away from the house or away from the office.
Yeah, mandatory carry says I need to find a solar charger. Man, they've got some really good solar chargers out there that are not that expensive. I mean, things are coming down in prices so well. There's some good ones. G23 says I have a 6-foot cable and I have 3 extra battery packs. You know, I don't carry 3 of them, but I always have 1, if not 2 sometimes in my truck at all times for battery packs. And I've got cables out the wazoo in the truck for, unfortunately, my cell phone and other things run on different size. So I've got this one cable that's got like 4 different hookups to it because it's pretty much going to fit an iPhone or Samsung or whatever the case may be. It can definitely do that. Pat says 20,000 milliamp battery pack in a bag. There you go. 223 says keep a charging cable, keep my get home bag full of a fresh first aid kit. So yeah. So now I forgot about that because I just thought about that. I was like, oh man, like you know, having battery charging and power, everyone's life revolves around electronics these days. You know, a lot of people tend to forget, maybe if you don't want to carry a battery pack, but having a cable to being able to plug in wherever you are could get you 5 or 10 minutes of charge and good to go. But let's start talking about maybe off body carry, whether it's inside the vehicle or a backpack. And let's start with a backpack. So Clove, I saw you unmute. You want to say something before we move on?
Nah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'll jump in once we get going.
Okay. So let's start talking about off person carry, whether it's a backpack, a purse, whatever it may be, something that it's not necessarily going to stay in the car. It's going to go with you, but it's not going to be on your person at all times, briefcase, whatever it would be. What are some items aside from now where we know what we're going to take? And let's say we're going to take the firearm, a light, a knife, the basics that we take on person. What are some of the things that now that you might have a backpack that you would probably add to that EDC list that is not going to be on your person, but it's going to be with you most of the time? I want to start with Clover on this one. Anything, if you were going to carry a fanny pack, backpack, whatever it would be, that you would now add to that you've got a little bit more storage room?
As far as the truck goes, I mean, I pretty much carry the big range bag and then my personal range bag. I have those. Sometimes, and then I've got a med bag too, and then sometimes there's even a medium-sized range bag. No, as far as off-body carry or what you should at least have on hand in the car, food and water. Some type of food and water, for sure. I've gotten out before doing things and there'd be no water and you spend several hours out there and you're starving to death. And I mean, even a granola bar or, something to munch on just to get you by another few hours so you can get home or get to a place to eat or whatever. And obviously water, I mean, with the way heat and everything is, I mean, couple of bottles at the very least. It's not anything you want to be toting around, but if you can keep a few of those in your car or something like that, maybe carry one at a time, go back and get another one when you need it.
So this is a Columbia bag, and I've kind of gone away from the tactical bag on an everyday thing. I kind of gone gray man recently, which I'm all for. It's got a little couple on white side. I carry a water bottle and all that. I took it out because it's going to be flopping around. But water, I always carry at least a couple bottles of water. And here I'll go with a life straw, just in case. And this is not necessarily an EDC bag. It could be a get home bag or a 24-hour bag or whatever. Life straw can get you a lot, but everyone knows that I always have gummy bears. And when I say I have gummy bears, I've got, this is just a handful. I've got about another handful or two in there, but I always keep these individually packed gummy bears. Snack on, whatever. But yeah, I always have gummy bears with me, and they fit anywhere. So that's the great thing about gummy bears is they can fit pretty much anywhere. The great thing about them is there's sugar. They'll give you some good stuff, but they'll keep you awake. They don't smell a whole lot. They do smell a little bit, but they're not going to smell them very far away, which is a good thing. Now, inside, if we're talking about food, I do like where he was going with like granola bars. So let me take this. Oh, by the way, I did get, I don't really care, but on the old pistol, got the Sylvan Arms foldable adapter. I put it on the pistol, and now it'll fit in this bag without having to take the upper and lower apart. So that's pretty cool. Got that in today, got it installed. Really cool. But on here, I'll have got some what do you call it, trail mix type stuff. This stuff is really, you can do a lot of that. I've got these little MRE sandwiches that you can fold up and keep in here. I also have a 20-liter water bladder inside here that if I need to, I can run out. I'm not going to run out of water very easily. It's going to take you're going to have to be somewhere far away from any kind of water for me to be able to run out of water. Between this and my bladder, I'll be able to find water with that life straw, or with heat with my lighter. I can heat up some water very, very easily. So yeah, food's a good one. Rogue, let's just stay on food real quick. What kind of food snack items, or do you keep food or snack items around with you?
I always keep food or snack with me. I'm gluten intolerant, so I get to the point where everybody's eating, but I look at that food and I go, I just can't eat that because I just know I'm going to be sick. So I keep Kind bars in my pack, and because I know I can eat them, and I can live 72 hours off of them if I really, really wanted to. But yeah, I keep lollipops also in my pack as well. So that way, for me, I do a lot of talking for my day job, and your throat gets dry, and I will need something to suck on. So I'll have a lollipop, or even sometimes some Jolly Rancher. Yeah, thanks.
You said it.
Well, I got to get business somehow, right? You got to pay the bills. But no, I'll keep Jolly Rancher sometimes, or even just gum. For that stuff.
That's
and then
have gum. Absolutely. Didn't think about gum.
Yeah. And then, you'll see me drink this on air. I drink a lot of water because I also make a lot of kidney stones. So I have to keep hydrated to deal with that. So I always have at least this, and I also in my pack for my day job, I also have a bladder that I can put in the back of my pack as well.
Now, G23 is saying bladder for water. Yeah, it's called a water bladder. Some people call it camelbacks, whatever. But it's like mine's like a 20-liter. I think it's a 20-liter or something like that. And it's about yay tall, about a foot tall, and about 6 inches wide. You fill it up, and it's got a little hose that comes out that you can drink and all that. And it's got a little backpack and throw it on. And so if you're walking or whatever, hiking, you can throw that on, and it's got a little tube that you can drink out of. And like I said, so yeah, that's always a good one. $20 is $20. Exactly right. So yeah, Pat says Spam, Cliff Bar, sardines, cracker, water packets, ramen noodles, granola bars, extra can of chew. That's something like that I would probably carry in like a RGG's out there. What's up, Holmes? That's something like I would keep for like a 3-day assault pack, like a 3-day bug out bag, 72-hour, whatever you want to call it. I could see myself doing the Spam, the ramen noodles, all that stuff just on a regular basis. Like for this one, I've got that 3-day bag in my vehicle, so if I ever need it. But for every day, I'll just carry stuff. I don't want to weigh it down, but I'll carry like the gummy bears and maybe some granola or an MRE sandwich. And that might be something just simply as, you are driving home and you have a blowout or something happens or you're in traffic and next thing you know, you're going to be there for an extra 45 minutes to an hour. You get hungry, you snack on it. It's not necessarily for survival. It's just a snack on. Survival food and EDC food, in my opinion, are two completely different things. Now I would use gummy bears for that survival as well. And MRE stuff is survival as well, but just an everyday carry backpack. Try not to load it down too much. You don't want to, look like you're going on an expedition out there. Like I said, I've gone to a gray man sense of things where I don't want to start carrying like FDE with a lot of Molly stuff in a backpack because it just looks, you want to be able to blend in no matter where you are. So a good solid black, little Jansport or whatever, you can go to Walmart and find yourself just a gray or a black, something that's going to fit in and all of that. It's a really a good idea. I'm not saying if you want to go tactical, by all means do it, but you're going to bring maybe unwanted attention. People might be like, what's in the bag and all that. So like I said, I've gone kind of gray man and use it to kind of blend in a little bit to where if I walk into work when I have a backpack on, it's not, it doesn't look like a range bag, it's just a backpack and it's what it is. So I don't know if Clover's back. I'm going to go back to Rogue real quick and say, okay, food aside now, we've kind of got some snacks and all that. What are other things that you're going to keep in the vehicle or in a backpack when you leave the house?
So for inside the car, I have another backpack that I keep. It's just a day hiking pack, and it's got a small toolkit in it and also a first aid kit in there as well. And I also keep extra like nitrile gloves and those type of things, plus a little extra food. So that's kind of, I have my regular pack for my work, which has my computer and that type of stuff in it. I have a kind of like a my breakdown kit, which is the tool kit. And then another pack that is a different story for a little longer of a away from home bag.
Yeah, that's the same one thing. I've got what I call a 3-day assault bag, go bag, and it stays in my vehicle, and that's going to be if I've got to survive for 3 days or whatever. This is not that bag. This is literally a day thing. So I can go through it real quick, and I do keep a tarp. It is what it is, but keep a tarp. You can use it for a lot of reasons, just for shade. But I put in this bag because I put in the back, and it kind of gives this backpack some structure to where when I've got my AR pistol in here, it doesn't. But this tarp actually works as a good one. But so I'll just go through mine. I've got big camp knife that got this at Wanamaker actually, but my camp knife that I can do a lot of things with, that stays in there. I don't know if I have room in this thing, but like I said, I've got some of those MRE food things and all of that. So then I go into this. I also have my AR pistol will be in this one. So go into here. It sounds crazy, but this is some energy powder for my water. Keep a couple of these if you need to stay. Powder you throw in a bottle of water, it helps. I keep these everywhere, but it sounds crazy, but I've got them all over the place. But rescue blankets, you never know when you're going to need something like that, but you can also use it for a lot of different things. Portable battery charger with my cable, an extra flashlight, obviously the multi-tool is always in there. So then I go in, always keep paracord, my first aid kit. I got some bleed stop stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. You get this for pretty cheap, but just comes in little packets. It's just called bleed stop. So if you guys that's something you could always think about as well. Keep those in there. Poncho, always carry a poncho. Once again, you can use that for a lot of different. But that's all fine and dandy. But yeah, I got tourniquets. I've got two 30-round Glock sticks, ammo magazines that will fit that AR-9. So that's I don't carry magazines, extra magazines on my person. I've never been one of those guys. I don't particularly like to carry extra magazines. You put this back in, tourniquet back in. So I'll forget. But I've never been that guy that carries extra mags in my person, but I do carry them in my bag, and I have some in the vehicle as well. But Clover, we're going to bring you in and say, aside from like food and all of that stuff, once again, we're talking vehicle, backpacks, whatever it is. Once we start expanding where we're going, I know you said you've got those range bags, but are there certain items that you're always going to have in your vehicle that maybe if someone's thinking about out there that they might think about all the time?
So I've got, when I say range bag, right, I'm talking about a big bag. It's a SOG.
Yeah.
And it's huge, right? It's, of course, back in the day when you've got, 100, 120 kids out on the range, you know what I mean? You need all kinds of things. So I had ponytail holders, back in the day. I mean, you don't think about that, but literally, seriously, girls would show up, their hair would be in their eyes. How are they going to shoot like that? So there's
Since
all
my
kinds.
hair has grown, I actually keep those in my pocket too.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of things. So when I say using air quotes with range bag, there is other things, and then I've got also the big med bag.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, my quote unquote personal range bag is like the pared down necessity things, right? So like a Ziploc bag with a few Band-Aids and some ointment, for example, in my personal bag, along with, of course, a tourniquet. Didn't take up much space, so why not? You talk about, I don't do, you got your AR pistol there. I go 22. Lately, it has been this Browning Buckmark Micro Bull. It's really small. Good Lord, I could easily shoot squirrels 50 yards with it, or rabbit, or whatever, right? Ammo being 22, light, easy to carry a lot of if I need to. One thing, I don't know if anybody's brought it up, but it's very, very cheap to do, is some fishing line, fishing hooks, and fishing weights. And you can literally buy a fishing line for $1.97, I think. I had to buy some for a project here not too long ago. Weights and hooks you can get. So for about $3, and you can literally put that in about a space about the size of a cigarette pack. And that just makes sense. It just does. I mean, you can always get worms, grubs, grasshoppers, crickets, probably find something for bait. And you can use a tree limb or just hand fish, throw the line, if you need to. So, good things to have around.
I want to say also, if you're out there and you're taking notes on some of the stuff that we're carrying or other people are talking about in the chat, which are some great things out there. And that's something that I do as well. I know, Clover, you probably have to. Rogue, you might have to. But when we go out for more than a day, I've got to take a bunch of medication with me. That's just the way it goes. I mean, I've got medicines I have to take every day. But anyways, when you're thinking about if you're going to Walmart or wherever, Academy or wherever you are, and I carry paracord in my backpack, or I carry a ton of paracord in my vehicle everywhere. Paracord for me is like duct tape. I can use it for so many different things. By the way, duct tape, it's another great one to keep in the back of your pack or whatever. Because I'll keep in my wallet, I've taken an old credit card that's basically, expired. It can't be used anything. And you take duct tape, so you don't have to carry a big old roll of it, but you take duct tape, and the width of duct tape is almost identical to a credit card, and you just wrap it tight all the way around to where you get a little thing of duct tape around a credit card. You can keep that in your wallet or wherever in your pocket, and you're going to have plenty of duct tape. That's another one to think about. But as far as paracord, I'm coming back to Clover here in a second on some med stuff, but paracord, if you've got a chance, and not all Walmarts carry it, but usually academies and outdoors places do. If you've got an opportunity to buy some what they call survival cord, it's a little bit tougher paracord, but inside the survival cord, one of the things that make up that cord is fishing line. So you can utilize it as normal paracord or cut it open and fishing line is in there as well. That's something to think about as well. But yeah, Clover, you're talking about some tips on meds.
Well, first you talk about duct tape. You can wrap duct tape around a screwdriver, and so it's 2 in 1. It's 2 in 1, right? So get you like I've got like a 12 in 1 screwdriver, and then I take and the bits interchange in the end or whatever, and so the shaft portion is plenty wide enough for the 2-inch or whatever it is duct tape, and then so you can put 10, 12, 15, 20, I don't even know, a lot of duct tape wrap around that. And it's right there, right? Yeah, talking about the med stuff. Yeah, your med kits, whatever. Number one, especially if you're talking about in the vehicle, not a controlled environment, hot, cold, that sort of thing. Keep an eye on expiration dates, not just on your medication, but on other things, alcohol swabs and other things that may, because those expirations are like, you can go further than that if you're in your house or, you're prepping in a root cellar or something like that in ideal conditions. You can go a whole lot longer, but I would not advise it. So make sure that you're checking the dates and stuff like that. The next thing when you talk about any type of a med kit is rapid access is a big thing with something like that. And so what I do, I don't have boxes of gauze and things like that. I have baggies. All of my stuff is in baggies. And what if your hands are wet? What if your hands are bloody, right? Baggies are hard to open. Well, here's where the duct tape comes in. Take you a couple little pieces of duct tape, fold it over the edges on the baggie. That gives you some little pull tabs to open that baggie with. And then that way, if you're in a situation where it's wet or whatever, but put everything in baggies, because what if you're out in the driving rain? What if it's a situation to where, you're caught in a flood or, something like that. You want to make sure all your medical supplies stay dry. So bag everything up. Don't just go to Walgreens or CVS or Walmart and buy the boxes of this, that, and the other and throw them in there. Organize everything according to the bag. Small Band-Aids are in this bag. Butterflies are in this one. The, round ones are in this bag. Everything has its own individual bag. That way you can grab that one particular thing and you don't have to dig through, because who wants to dig through with bloody hands or anything else and be digging through a bunch of stuff? You're cross-contaminating
from oil or just grease.
This is true.
Yeah,
you're talking about cross-contamination on a bunch of different stuff. It's just not a good situation.
Rogue, come on in. You're talking about something that I carry in my 3-day bag, but not in my everyday bag, which might be an interesting thing to think about. Go ahead.
So I carry zip ties, and I carry them for different reasons, because number one, I can use them for my day job. We go through a lot of zip ties, but number two is that you can use them for different things. Out here in Montana, we take trucks out into the hills and beat the ever living crap out of them. I actually blew a radiator hose, and we pulled up and the engine was heating up. We stopped and you just heard a, and we're like, yep, that was that hose that went. We opened up that hood, and after everything cooled down, I put zip tie after zip tie on that radiator hose to get some structure, then wrapped it in duct tape. And it's funny that repair actually held for a week afterwards before I finally get the radiator hose. But zip ties can be used for a lot of things. I used it one time because someone was off-road and a bumper bolt fell off their bumper. It unthreaded, and we just zip tied the bumper just to hold it so he's not dragging it, through the woods and stuff.
Back and go find a store and find a bolt, and not a problem.
Yeah. So I like zip ties because you can use them for so many things that you don't even think about.
Yeah. Now Razor out there brings up a great one. No matter what you decide to do, if it's a backpack or whatever in your vehicle, organization is great. And that is something that most people would not consider. if you know what pocket, and I keep my things separated. Like I said, this little front one's going to have my snacks in it. Okay. So I know that the very front one is going to have my snacks. This medium pocket, this is all going to be first aid and electronic stuff, whether it's multi-tool first aid kits, lights, battery chargers, and all of that. That's in here. Obviously, inside here are my weapons. So I've got my my knives, my magazines, my AR is going to go in the big pouch. So you try to keep them organized, not just because so you can find them quickly. That's obviously very, very important. But what if you're the one that is hurt or something? Someone comes over and is like, hey, do you have anything? I don't have anything in my vehicle to help. Do you have anything? Yeah, there's a black backpack. And I want you to look in the middle pocket. And that's going to be my first aid kit, my tourniquet, my trauma kit. That's something that people don't think about also. Everyone talks about first aid kits, trauma kits. Maybe not in your EDC bag or whatever, but everyone should have a trauma kit in their vehicle. People don't think about trauma kits. They're different than a first aid kit, but yeah, organizations to where not only do you know where it is, but you can tell someone verbally or draw a picture or show them that's not with you, that doesn't know anything about this bag, where the stuff that might be in the bag that they could use for you or to save someone else, being able to say, hey, if you look in that very, very, very front pocket, there's some gummy bears. This person's having an attack for diabetes, needs some sugar, whatever, go grab some gummy bears. They're in that front pouch. Or that first aid kit or that tourniquet's right there in that medium pouch. You need a big knife. Yeah, I got a knife in that big open pocket. Knowing where everything is for sure is where organization is key. And I'm glad that Razor brought that up, because that is something that if you're going to put together EDC bag, or you're going to put EDC items in your vehicle, and you're going to be something that you want to have with you most of the time, organizing it is going to be huge. Travis out there says, keep a fire starter in his vehicle bug out bag with a Bic lighter. I always have a lighter on me, and I've got 11 of them in my backpack and other. I keep a package of lighters everywhere. I mean, I'm never gonna have to worry about running out of fire. But I also keep fire starter logs, some Vaseline and cotton balls. If you want a cheap, quick way to get a fire started, get a little thing of Vaseline and some cotton balls. Take a scoop, light that cotton ball, and that thing will burn for about 10 minutes to light up other twigs or whatever. So yeah, petroleum jelly and a cotton ball are a great way to start a fire. I've got a video actually about starting fires. So
I watched a video one time. What I use now is the makeup applicator pads.
Yeah.
And they're cotton. I guess they're cotton. But anyway, you just buy you some cheap candles, basically, melt them, in a pot and dunk those in there. So soak those with wax, and of course the wax will help keep them dry. Duh, right? Once it seals.
Sure.
And those work really good for fire starters. Throw a few of those down in the bag. Yeah.
So I'm going to put out in the chat a video if you're interested out there. That's a video that I did this winter sometime. This is how to build a fire, 3 easy ways that you can build a fire outside with things that you may not think of. So that's a really cool one if you're looking, and they're all easily contained to where you can put them in any backpack or the vehicle, stuff like that. But yeah, go ahead and check that video out if you want. It's going to give you some ideas on some different ways to start a fire. But yeah, always have several ways to start a fire. Always have different ways to get water, whether it's obviously bottles of water or the life straw or iodine tablets. However, I keep in here also like I said, I have the life straw, but I also keep a little metal cup that collapses. You can pull it up, little aluminum or whatever. It's a little cup that collapses, but you can pull it up. Not only can you drink from it, you can put water in there, put that on a campfire or something, heat it up, boil the water if you want to. If you're worried about sanitizing water out wherever you need to be. Once again, we're not trying to talk about 72-hour assault bags or survival bags. This is everyday bag. But having a couple bottles of water with you at all times. It's something as simple as that.
Something that dawns on me when you were talking about the collapsible water thing that you need to keep in mind. Your EDC will also change if you have pets with you all the time.
That is true. That's true. Yeah. Dog food. Probably going to carry an extra bottles of water for them to be able to drink.
Well, when you were talking about the collapsible cup, I was thinking they can't just turn up a bottle. So I mean, you need something to be able to put the water in.
I carry a little Tupperware, a little circle Tupperware. It's about that tall, and I can just pour a bottle of water in there for the pup. You can use it for a lot of different things, but that's something that I actually do keep in there. Go ahead, Rogue.
We keep a stainless steel bowl and a couple of gallon jugs of water in the truck for the dogs. So that way, because we're out on the weekends, we're always out hiking somewhere. So we make sure that we have plenty of stuff for the dogs.
Yep. Steel wool 9-volt battery. Is that something you add, or are you answering a question from someone earlier?
You can actually start a fire with a 9-volt battery and some steel wool.
Oh, okay. I didn't see I was just like, that's
I was answering somebody up above.
Random. Just very random. But yeah. Let's see, your car battery and jumper cables. That's something. I mean, you always want to keep those in your vehicle as well. But yeah, it's just one of those things where there's a lot of things that you can keep in your backpack, in your vehicle. And when you start talking about everyday carry, I want people to get out of the mindset of knife, firearm, and light. Whether you carry a gun every day or not, I think everyone should carry a knife and a light on them at all times. But I want you to start thinking outside of and a lot of people say, well, that's just being paranoid. Be paranoid. It's not. It's called being prepared. But putting together a bag that says, if I have a backpack that goes with me everywhere, that it's going to be to get me home or get me to work or to get me to from point A, something happens between point A and point B, and this bag's going to help me get to point B or back to point A, whatever that might be. What are some of the things that are going to help you in a 24-hour, I wouldn't even say a 24-hour, I'd say like a 12-hour. What do you need that it's going to happen in a 12-hour period that you might need? And start thinking about some of that stuff and start thinking, hey, portable battery chargers, charging cables for your electronics, for your computer, whatever. Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know if this maybe got brought up while I wasn't here, but in the age of technology, something people do not think about, that what if you got stranded? What if there was a situation where the power grid went down? A map.
Yeah, a map is something you should always have. I think most people, when they think map, they're going to go to their phone these days, but having a paper map, an atlas, and that comes into something else is, this is that it actually perfectly transitioned into what I wanted to transition as part of EDC is knowledge. And it's great to have a tourniquet in your bag. It's nice to have a first aid kit in your bag. It's nice to have, it's something as simple as that, like Clover was saying, but having knowledge on how to utilize those items is also extremely important, to where anyone can have a tourniquet. But if you don't know how to apply a tourniquet, you could actually do more damage than good with a tourniquet. You can have all the stuff in a first aid kit, but if you don't know how to, and it sounds simple, but if you don't know how to pour alcohol and clean a wound before applying a bandage, you could do more damage. So part of, if you're going to decide to start carrying different items, whether it's in a backpack or in your vehicle or whatever, if you're going to carry a map, it sounds crazy. Learn how to read a map. I'll be willing to bet that most kids these days don't know how to read a map. They're not going to be able to say, okay, find out where you are on this map. I need for you to get to this place 250 miles away, and you can't use any major highways for whatever reason. Most people might not be able to do that, but learning how to read a map, a compass is a great one. Yeah, I've got my knife has a compass. One of my knives has a compass. Also, I have a watch in there that has a compass on it. So yeah, compass is a great one to have as well. But absolutely, if you're going to have a map in the car, be familiar in how to read a map. It sounds crazy, but most people wouldn't think about that. And here's the thing, drop the ego. If you're going to make that mental decision to start carrying some different items to be prepared, drop the ego. It's okay to say, I don't know how to use a tourniquet. I don't know how to read a map. I don't know how to field dress a wound. I don't know how. Well, guess what? You can go to pretty much any hospital and they're going to be able to, usually for free, show you how to fix a wound, how to clean a wound, how to bandage a wound. They'll probably even be able to teach you how to use a tourniquet. And oh, by the way, it's one of the best things you could ever do. Take a CPR class. Learn how to apply CPR on someone. Talking about saving someone's life without any of this stuff. None of this stuff has to be with you. You can save a life just by learning how to give CPR. Knowledge is one of the biggest things that very few people think about when they talk about EDC, because you can have all the gadgets in the world, but you don't know how to use them. They don't do anything else. Clover, Rogue, anything else, on that side of thing. I love the compass. I love the map. I didn't even think about a map, but because my mind straight went to, I've got Google Maps on my phone. What if the grid shuts down? You're done with that. Fantastic point. Anything else like that? I'm trying to give people ideas that are new to the EDC life. And I love that. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead and jump in.
Well, the other thing to think of is if you're using Google Maps, obviously if you don't have internet, you can't use it. Here in Montana, we get through a lot of places where we don't have cell coverage. But I do have a mapping program on my phone that has offline maps. So that way, when I'm in a dead zone, I still have the maps. On top of that, go to your local, trying to think of the name, but basically your state gives away maps, to the tourists.
Sure. Like the road stops and all that on the highway.
Yeah, the road stops and stuff.
Tourists, whatever you call them. Yeah.
Yeah, you can just get them for free from the state. Yeah.
Yep. Sure can.
If nothing else, go get one of those. Road atlases are great. And just realize that if you are someplace that you at least know where you're at and you need to make fire, your map will help you make a fire. This
is true. Yeah, if you've got one of those big old atlases that have all 50 states, whatever, hey, I might not need Massachusetts or Alaska. Hey, I can pull that out and I can light fire with my absolutely all sorts of stuff. Just start. I guess the whole principle that I'm trying to get out there is for people that are deciding to make this move is open your mind up to possibilities. Think outside the box. You can never be too prepared. And I'm not saying go, get the paranoid and all that, but it's just being prepared. Think about what your everyday life is, what I'm going to carry in my bag or whatever, and what Clover and what Rogue are going to carry are going to be different. We have different jobs. We live in different areas. We have access to different things around there. It might take longer for one of us to get to civilization than the other. So we have to plan accordingly, but it's all being prepared. Think outside the box and say on an everyday, normal everyday that, it's not irregular where you're having to go drive somewhere that you usually don't go. But on an everyday basis, how far are you from the nearest gas station? How far are you from the nearest food source, whether it's a gas station or a grocery store or fast food? How far are you from XYZ? And say, am I willing to, worst case scenario, walk to these different places? If the answer is, I don't know if I want to do that or I can't make it, then you might want to have that stuff on hand. Very, very simple. Or do you have enough stuff with you that can get you Sometimes you might be 45 minutes from the nearest town.
Yeah.
Well, do you have enough supplies that can get you 45 minutes down the road or whatever, whether you're hitchhiking or not? Do you have a food source? Do you have water? If you have to hump it all the way there, do you have comfortable shoes that you might, if you wear heels or you wear dress shoes on an everyday basis, you might want to think about throwing a pair of running shoes or hiking shoes in the back of your vehicle, just in case you got to start walking out. Stuff like that. There's always things that you can think about. Clover, go ahead. I know you said you were going to bring something up where I can hear you wanting to say something.
Well, I mean, when something else popped in my head here.
Yeah,
talking about
free conversation.
You're talking about the gas, but I mean, how many people carry a gallon or a 2-gallon gas can in their trunk or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Just in case. I mean, that could be handy even to help somebody else. I mean, somebody's on the side of the road. What's up? Well, you're gonna run out of gas. Okay, well, I'll be back in a minute, run down the road, get 2 gallons of gas, bring it back to them, whatever. But, not only for you, I mean, maybe you got to grab that and take off walking because for whatever reason,
right.
Gas gauges can lie, and sometimes you can get lost or, something else can happen. That comes with management. You don't want to store it in your trunk with gas in it. But, when you were talking about CPR, especially last year with so many things like taking a hard pivot to online and everything else, the vast majority of that now you can do online, and you just go do a like an in-person type thing that takes maybe an hour or something like that after you've done everything online. And most of the places, Red Cross, American Heart Association, so forth and so on, that do CPR, they do all types of other stuff too, and you can schedule that to where
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, like I've got CPR, and then what they call outdoor first aid, which deals with insect bites and obviously what am I thinking? Dang it, the injections, the shots, the
allergies, and all that stuff. Yeah.
EpiPen.
Yeah, the EpiPen, using the EpiPen.
You always have to have that because you've got to have an EpiPen with you.
But then, it wasn't a big deal for me, but somebody doesn't use one. You know what I mean? And then, it talks about that. It talks about plants like poison ivy, poison oak, different allergic reactions, breaks, cuts, nothing, doesn't cover anything super major, but, it covers pretty much anything that you would, that would happen in the great outdoors.
Yep.
And so, it was like an extra to add that on was an extra $15, I think. Right. And then it took an extra maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
The online portion was longer than that, but the in-person testing part, it took like an extra 30 minutes. So well worth it.
Well worth it. Yeah. Educating yourself and anything and everything. Like I said, depending on your scenario, where you live, what you're going to be doing, where you could be going on a day-to-day basis, having some of that stuff. How many people out there carry a little thing of motor oil just in case their car gets a leak? Well, guess what? Motor oil could be used for a lot of things. You want to talk about starting a fire? A little bit of motor oil will start a fire very quickly. Diesel, if you carry diesel, for your truck, diesel is a great way to start a quick fire for warmth, for heat, for cooking. But all those things, you can utilize them for something outside of what their intended purposes is. If you carry a thing of motor oil, well, guess what? That's something that could be utilized for a lot of different things. So just like I said, keep that in mind as well. Alcohol, people, don't think about it, but if you've got hello.
Whoa.
That was not my pup. There you go. Mandatory carry says, it reminds me, gotta get oil in my car. Yes, you do.
I carry
last month, you need to go get your oil change, buddy.
I carry, and it's a convenience thing for me. You're going to use it eventually anyway, right?
Yeah.
I carry you can buy the jugs, the big jugs, like a oil change in a jug, whatever. I don't know how many quarts it is. I think it's like 6 quarts or something in there.
Right.
I carry that in a filter in the toolbox of my truck. And then, if I change my oil, assuming somebody else doesn't do it, right? Then I'll replace that, but I've already got it. If I happen to, maybe something happens and the truck starts using more oil, or maybe I have, get a leak on a long trip or something like that, keep in mind that 1 quart might not be enough. By the time that you're, check oil light, whatever, low oil light, all that comes on.
Yeah, 1 quart's not going to do
1
nothing.
quart is not going to be enough. So I would say go ahead and get that gallon jug, whatever the big jug is, and put that away. A lot of people don't think about it either, but antifreeze,
coolant. Yeah.
Your coolant. Yeah. Because
windshield wiper fluid. It sounds crazy, but you never know. I mean, if you live in the South and where you have a lot of bugs, that stuff is a necessity sometimes.
I'll tell you, and application is a pain in the rear and everything else, but Rain-X, man, Rain-X,
sure.
Oh my God, and that helps with bugs and just anything that sticks to the windshield and stuff. It seems
during
like
the winter time, I'll take the heat the heat in a can type thing. Yeah, in the wintertime, because if it starts raining, it freezes overnight. You spray that on your windshield and it melts that ice like that. One thing to think about. Once again, it's not. I don't want everyone to do everything we're saying. You got to pick and choose what you want to do. But you're talking about oil and an oil filter. Once again, you can start a fire with oil and an oil filter. Just those two items. If you have, once again, everything that we're talking about. Can be used for multiple purposes if you're willing and able to think outside the box. If you're in that crazy situation where weird stuff's happening and you've got to survive, you're gonna have to be able to think of creative ways to survive. You're gonna need heat, you're gonna need food, and you're gonna need water.
Did anybody mention earlier about blankets or anything?
So not yet, because I keep, I think I've done a video on my vehicle, but I keep a couple fleece blankets at all times in my truck. I carry fleece. I've got a couple of hoodies that stay in there that I don't wear, that they stay in there, not just for me, but for other people.
I take mine out every now and then to wash them, but that's about it. Yeah.
Well, I've got them in a bag and they're wrapped up, and so they're not going to get dirty. But I carry blankets and sweatshirts.
So the moving blankets from like Harbor Freight.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah,
very, very affordable. And so if you ever get
those, there's a thick enough. Those could actually be shelter if you needed them.
They're if you ever got stranded out, where you're in your vehicle and you just needed that extra warmth. Plus, a lot of people don't think about it, but what if you got to change a tire? You can put that down on the ground, right? What if you get off somewhere, and a lot of people don't think about this, and winter storms coming through? Well, you could throw that over your windshield. Right. And then you don't have to spray and scrape ice like you're talking about. Right. All you got to do is pull that blanket off. So, there's a lot of different, but a tarp, you were talking about a tarp earlier.
Yeah. I have a tarp. I keep a tarp and some ponchos in my bag.
A tarp can serve the same purpose for covering a windshield, or like I said, getting underneath your car, changing a tire, whatever. To me, the drawback of the tarp is it doesn't provide warmth necessarily if you needed to wrap up in it.
Well, I also have right here. I see what you're
emergency blanket.
I've got I keep these.
But then it also won't dry you if you're wet, which a blanket would do too. You could use it almost as a towel.
How many of you guys I just found these in my hot hands?
Oh yeah.
These things cost nothing.
Get them at the end of the season.
They expire. Be careful with them because
they do. They do. But this is something that Clover and I were actually talking about on a phone call. We can go into free for all, but this is one of the things that I want to talk about, because whether you've been doing this kind of stuff where it's a EDC bag or a survival bag or whatever you want to get a home bag or a go bag, whatever it is, or just getting stuff to put in your vehicle and you store them in your vehicle, whatever it is, whether you've been doing it forever or you're watching this video or you're listening to this podcast and say, I've never thought about any of this stuff. I think I might start getting some of this stuff. Understand this. You can go to Walmart, you can go to Academy, you can go to different places. And if you just look, you go out to the out, especially at Walmart, excuse me, if you go back to the outdoor section at Walmart, be on the lookout. They have crazy sales. Okay. So I was there last week and I don't know if you guys are there's, it's called, Ozark Trail is their kind of outdoorsy Walmart brand. And they had little bitty flip knives about half the size of this for $1. I got six, they only had 6 left, so I grabbed all 6 for over $6. I've got 6 knives. Are they the greatest thing in the world? No, but guess what? If I lose them or they break, I don't care. I didn't spend a lot of money, but I can put them in my glove compartment. I can put them in a bag. I can put them in a pocket. I can put them. I've got 6 of them now. I probably got 20 of them, but I bought 6 more for $1 a piece. You were talking about some things that you guys got, because we never really talk about this as well, but we talk about the water, but talking about tumblers and all that. You guys found some crazy prices on some tumblers at Walmart recently, Clover, but be willing to look for these sales that you can just there on the little end of the aisles and say, hey, you can get 5 of these for the price of 1. Well, I might not ever use that, but I could use it for this. For that price, I'm just going to grab a few and have them just in case. Be willing to look for sales, because you can go by and get a lot of stuff. I've talked about this before. First aid kits. If you're looking to put together a first aid kit, you can go buy them for pretty cheap, 10, from 10 to 20 bucks at Walmart or wherever. But the best way to go get a first aid kit put together, we've done it many, many times growing up with my daughter's softball team. Go around to the different doctors' offices in your town and say, I'm putting together a first aid kit. Do you have anything that you could maybe donate? You might get a doctor that says, I got a bunch of gauze. Here, take that. I've got a bunch of extra Band-Aids. Take that. I've got some aspirin. Take that. I've got whatever. Take that. And you jump around to different doctor's offices around your town. You'll be able to put together for free a really badass first aid kit. So be thinking outside the box there of cheaper ways to maybe get some of these supplies. Do you guys ever, and I know Clover does, because we were talking about it, but Rogue, what are some of the ways that you can think of that maybe, or you've used to save money on some of this stuff?
Well, it's funny because you're talking about ponchos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I carry lawn and leaf bags for big trash bags.
Oh, trash bags. Okay, like leaf bags. Oh, yeah,
yeah, big lawn and leaf bags.
We call them construction bags here. Yeah.
So something like that you can use in emergency for a poncho. You can throw wet clothes in it. You can throw clothes in to stay dry. Those are the type of things that I carry. It's kind of weird trying to explain that to my wife first. In my pack, she's like, what are you carrying trash bags for? They were my cheap way of being a multi-use thing. Plus, they don't take up a lot of room. But the other thing about going back to the medical stuff is sometimes there are almost like, I don't want to say like they're emergency rooms, with like urgent care places. Mm-hmm. And they will give stuff away to get people to be more aware of being, having medical stuff. And they'll actually sometimes they'll do some free training as well, because the urgent cares are a little more community oriented than a doctor's office.
Yep. Ratchet straps, great one. Bungee cords. I carry a shit ton of bungee cords in the truck, not in my pack, but in the truck. But yeah, the ratchet straps, I didn't even think about it, but that could be used for shelter, for hanging. I mean, all ratchet strap. Hell, if you had to, I guess it could be used as a tourniquet. I mean, all sorts of stuff. But ratchet straps, I never thought about that. But I've got one in my truck. I never thought about it for specific reasons. That's a great one. Go ahead.
I've literally seen ratchet straps be used for toe straps, by the way. Now the big 2-inch or 3-inch ones,
sure.
the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
But Yeah,
doubt.
I've seen them. I mean, you're not going to pull up, 18-wheeler out of the mud or, nothing like that with one. But, got a little car that's went off the highway or something like that. Yeah.
I do want to say a couple hellos out there. I saw TJ earlier and Lucy just joined. If you see their names in different colors, they are YouTube channel members. So thank you to them and welcome. Good seeing you, Lucy. How you doing? There's a lot of, like I said, don't limit yourself to something that you think, well, I'll never need that. You never know it. You might not never need it, but someone that you're with or on the side of the road or whatever might need some stuff. So always keep that in the back of your mind as well. And at this point, we've kind of concluded we're in the free for all. So let's just talk and have fun. Throw out questions for the next 25 minutes. We're going to let Rogue and Clover and we'll just talk about whatever. But if you have any questions out there, it doesn't have to be on topic. This is the time to do it. Rogue, you look like you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Well, the one thing I was going to say about ratchet straps is, you can use them for towing and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. You can also use them for what if you're in an accident, you get rear-ended and your trunk doesn't close. Yeah. You can do the same thing with, bungee cords and stuff like that. You may have something happen to your car that you may literally hold your car together with duct tape.
Duct tape, toe straps, and zip ties.
I had. It was or
was that me?
It's probably me.
Okay.
But I was in an accident where it was a multi-car collision. I was the last one in the front, and the guy behind, he wasn't. He had nothing. I pulled out black electrical tape, and we started taping stuff back to his truck just to get him off the road.
Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah, if you get a busted window, for example, you talk about those trash bags and some duct tape. Mm. Well, that comes in handy. They should get a busted window and the rain's coming or something.
Exactly.
Definitely.
And once again, we're talking weird things, but Buck, if you're going to be traveling on the highway or something like that, you might want to go get the. Don't keep them in your vehicle at all times. If you know you're going to be on the highway traveling for vacation or something or work, safety triangles in case you break down. Absolutely, because a lot of people, especially if you break down at night, those safety triangles, they could really save your life. Appreciate you, Lucy. Ricardo out there, $10 super chat for the troops. Appreciate you very much, brother. Appreciate you. Stuff like that. Like I said, and there might be different bags. There might be a bag that you have every day, but there also might be a bag for if you're going to go on the highway for a vacation. Yeah, flares and fire extinguisher. There might be a bag that you're going to go if you're going to be going to camp out or you're going to be going here. You can have different bags for different types of scenarios as well. And you don't have to have them all with you at all time. But if you know that, hey, we're getting ready to hit the highway for a couple hours, you might go get that highway bag, put that in the back of your vehicle. Hey, we're going to be camping out, or we're going to be going somewhere that it might be an hour or two between towns and between let's grab that bag. There's different bags or whatever loadouts, if you will, should you want to think that far ahead. But, the worst possible thing that you could ever do is be stranded in a situation that you were not prepared for and you desperately need other people's help to survive. Because what if you don't find anyone? What if no one drives by? What if, you're in that middle of nowhere scenario that no one's coming to help you? You can't get a hold of anyone. You haven't seen a car drive by you in 2 hours, and you're an hour from the nearest part of civilization. Be self-reliant, and that's what ultimately everyday carry is. It's not talking about just guns and everything, but every day is being self-reliant. We talk about this when you're carrying. One of the reasons why we do carry guns, if we carry a gun, is to be self-reliant, not have to worry about, be our own first responders, be our own, self-defense. Be self-reliant, and the more things that you can do to prepare yourself for those things, the best. Rogue, I'll go to you first, and then I'll go to Clover. I saw Rogue unmute before Clover, so Rogue, you're first.
Well, one of the things, I was an East Coast boy, and then when we moved here to Montana, we were ignorant to the dangers of traveling. I mean, you can be hours away from a city.
You have some weird animals out there that you may not have ever seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, I've seen some bears on the East Coast. They're nothing like the bears out here in Montana. But the thing is here is winter travel. You could literally be on a highway, spin out, go off the road, and be stranded for a couple of days in some of our storms. And
no one would know it.
No one would know it. I mean, cars could literally just be passing you on the highway and never see you. I've been in near whiteout situations out here. So that's one of the things that, we learned really quick when we moved to Montana is understand what you need to keep for weather, and, I have my loadout, my get home bag is completely different in the wintertime than it is in the summertime. I repack that every season to be ready for whatever season I'm in.
Yep. Jason brings up a great point. Good idea to have everyone's phone numbers on a piece of paper, also a prepaid cell phone. Prepaid cell phone could work, but if the cell towers are down and your cell phone doesn't work, that prepaid ain't going to work either.
Well,
but I do like having the idea of having all of the important, in case of emergency, phone numbers in a notepad or on a piece of paper, but also put those inside of a baggie also to keep them from getting wet. I want to go to Clover. I want you to follow up on that, but I also want to bring up something that you brought up earlier. And someone said, Yeti out there says, what about a small collapsible fishing pole in a go bag? You talked about different ways that you could go without a fishing pole. You want to bring those up real quick for a Yeti that could get that food source with fishing without having to get a pole?
Yeah, I mean, you can hand fish very easily, and you could use a limb, or you could do any number of things. So,
right.
And especially if you talk about having a water bottle, for example, screw the top back on it, and you've got a bobber, right? So I've hand fished in my lifetime a bunch of different times. It's not difficult to do. So, they do make some collapsible fishing poles. And I mean, if that's something you wanted, like a cane pole type thing, and I do have one of those, if that's something you want to pursue, but for me, it's a matter of packaging. And even though that collapses, it's still, 16, 18 inches long. I don't even know. It's pretty long. Right. So for me, you can get the fishing line, the hooks, and the weights literally in like something smaller than a pack of cigarettes. And so it's that footprint, and it takes up less. It's interesting that there was a cell phone talk, because that's actually what I was going to say. Keep in mind, having an old cell phone around that's charged, you can still, even if it doesn't have a SIM card, and this is it's like federal law, you can still dial 911. It still works. So you can use that for an emergency situation. You can leave that with somebody, right? Like, let's say you have to go out on foot for some reason, and you leave your wife. Your wife's going to stay there locked up in the car. Well, you can leave her the real phone, and then you take the 911 phone, or something. That way, at least, you're going to have to communicate through 911 services or whatever, but at least both of you have some form of communication in that situation. Right.
Now, Rogue brings up something about having an emergency number in case of emergency on your cell phone. Now, I'll say this also. What I suggest is, if you are the person that has facial recognition or a thumbprint or some sort of maze to unlock your phone, not just, if you have security or multiple levels of security to even unlock your phone, think about something. Write on a piece of paper or whatever, or even on your computer screen, and just type out, if found, call this number, and maybe put your wife's or your husband, whatever, your kid's phone number. And then below it say, in case of emergency, please contact, and then leave 3 names and numbers. Take a picture of it with your phone. Okay. And then take that picture and make that your lock screen on your cell phone. So if someone finds you, you're in a wreck, or they find your cell phone, and they're not going to be able to unlock your phone to get your, in case of emergency, files or all that. If they hit that home button and your phone comes out of hibernation, your lock screen photo is going to be, hey, if you found this phone, call this number. In case of emergency, call one of these 3 people. They can utilize that lock screen and not have to get inside your phone to figure out what the hell they need to do or who they need to call. So once again, way outside the box. But if you have phone that takes multiple layers of security just to unlock it to get to your contacts, you might want to think about taking a picture of something and making that your lock screen to where they don't have to unlock your phone. All they got to do is hit that home button, and they've got, if you've lost it, call this number. In case of emergency, call this number, and you're done. Be thinking about something like that. It sounds crazy, but it is something that you can think about. Rogue, you were unmuted earlier. I want to go back to you and what you got.
No, it was basically that whole lock screen. Because make sure that you do have a contact. Because like I wrote it in the comments there, if you're unconscious and they can't unlock this device, they can at least contact somebody. The other thing with the picture is, if you have some type of medical condition, make sure that's on your unlock screen too. So you may not have an ID bracelet or something like that, but if they unlock it, they got everything they need right there to try to to catch them up as fast as possible.
Yep, no doubt. Once again, all of this, what we've been talking about tonight, we're not saying that you have to do everything. We're not saying that you have to do anything like we're doing. We're just saying, if you're thinking about it, use some of the ideas that we've talked about. There's been some phenomenal ideas out in the chat tonight. The biggest thing is open your mind. Start thinking about, what can I do to be just in case shit? Okay, just in case shit goes down the hill, just in case something happens, just in case, am I prepared? Or worst case scenario, I'm hurt. Will my family be okay in this vehicle or wherever to get to safety if I'm not able to do anything? Having those supplies is not being paranoid. It's being prepared. And you can literally put them in the trunk of your vehicle and totally never think about them again. The great thing is if you should ever need something, it's there. So be thinking about that. Need a good knife. I mean, knives are, I am not a knife snob. I am not one of those guys that have to have certain brands. I like auto blades. I like, flip up knives, whatever they want to call them. I much rather have an assisted knife or an auto knife than a fixed blade, but I'll always have either a K-bar or a nice fixed camp knife or a karambit, something that's fixed that I can have for whatever the different things are. But blades are going to be crucial. And I think that everyone, no matter who you are, what you do for a living, where you live, I think everyone should probably have a knife either on them or in their vehicle or in their purse or in their backpack or whatever. A knife, even if it's just to open letters, it's whatever, go ahead.
Well, what's funny is, we were talking earlier about pens and going through the wash. The way I actually got my wife to carry a knife was kind of, it was that way. I didn't plan on it, but she got sick of me throwing my pants in the wash with my knife in it and then banging around. So eventually she started confiscating the knives that I had. And it's just a couple of weeks ago, she cleaned out her purse and there was 3 knives that she confiscated from me in her purse. And I'm like, at least she's got something.
At least she's got them. And what do they say? 2 is 1 and 1 is none.
Yep. 3 is for me.
Yeah. And that's just one of those things, like I said, the biggest thing that we can tell you, at least I can tell you, and I'm going to let Rogue and Clover here in a minute kind of do their thing. But the big thing I can tell you is keep an open mind. And you don't have to have one bag. You can have a different bag for different scenarios. That you don't have to have them all in the vehicle, but if you know you're going to do certain thing, okay, I'm going to go grab this bag, or I'm going to go grab that bag. I make sure I've got everything in there. And it's not being paranoid. Don't let anyone tell you that it's paranoid. It's just being ready for anything. Once again, being self-reliant. If you don't want to be self-reliant, that's on you. Hey, that's cool. You do you. I would much rather not have to worry about needing someone to help me survive. If I can help myself and help my family and we can do it on our own, I'm all for it. If we need help, we've got ways to get help. But having self-reliance is a big thing, because at that point, you know that no matter what God throws at you, no matter what scenario happens, you're going to be able to get through it. So I'm going to start with Rogue right now and kind of recap everything we've been talking about for the last hour and a half, 2 hours. Anything that you want to touch on that we haven't touched on, and all that stuff. And we'll do our plugs here in a second, but this is more still anything that we want to bring up or touch on.
You know, my biggest thing is I don't want to be a drain on the system. You know, if there is some type of incident or accident or whatever, I don't want to be the one taking resources away from those who need them. I want to be the one putting resources into that situation. You know, I carry several packs depending on where I'm going to go, and if I'm in town or if I'm leaving town or if I'm at work. And each pack has a specific purpose. And
label those packs also. Make sure they're
labeled.
Not, you might know what I'm not saying for you, but people, if you're going to have multiple packs, you may know what those packs are. But what if someone else is having to get it? Make sure you label somehow, some way. Duct tape and a Sharpie might just be enough way to label them.
Yeah. And
sorry.
No, that's fine. And like you were saying about the whole gray man thing, you don't want to stick out. If there is something that has happened, you don't want to be the person sticking out in the crowd. You know, my get home bag, 72-hour bag, whatever anybody wants to call it, is an old Kelty pack that I used to use for camping. It's blue and gray, and people look at it and they're just going to be like, whatever. You know, whereas if I was carrying an old Alice pack, that'd be something a little different. So, you know, also blended, and it's not just to, you know, doing that whole gray man thing is not really to just say, hey, I'm carrying a gun or I'm carrying stuff. It's really just to, you know, if someone sees a pack laying in the back of your car and it's just a pack, no one's ever going to question it. You know, that's probably not what they're looking for. They're not looking at my 72-hour bag, and they have no idea that there's a rifle and a pistol inside that pack. All it is a camping pack. They're probably going to go look for something else to go steal in case for some reason they see that pack. You know, I used to travel a lot. One of the first things I did when I got to whatever city I'm going to be, I would immediately fill up my car with gas. So that way I knew I had a full tank of gas. If something happened, I could get as far as that tank would get me to get home. You know, I was always thinking about how am I going to get home. So make sure you fill up when you get somewhere. Just, you know, it just takes a couple of minutes. Even if you're going to be in a hotel room, swing by the gas station, top off the tank. That just gives you a little peace of mind that, you know, if you need to leave that city or town or wherever you're at, you're not fighting.
You got 300 miles before you got to worry about shit.
You're not fighting for gas like everybody else is. You're already on the road and you're out of town.
Absolutely. Chloe, want to come back to you and say, you know, anything that we haven't brought up or anything that you want to touch on that we've been talking about, but then go ahead, like Rogue was saying, if you're talking to someone out there that's new to the idea of being more prepared, what's kind of some of the best advice you could give them?
You know, a little at a time. You know, it's
you don't have to go and spend $300 on everything at one time. Absolutely.
And your situation is going to change. So, I mean, you know, listen to podcasts and shows like these and, you know, talk to people about it, but don't make a keep a running list of everything everybody says that they carry and think that you have to have all of that. It's like you don't. And it's okay to, get one thing and then a few months later go, well, did I really need that? I didn't need that. And then, oh, but I need this, right? And so it's an ever evolving thing. So, don't get in a rush necessarily to do it. And, at the same time, understand it's going to be ever evolving. So don't stress out over it too much. At the end of the day, one of the things, and we didn't really talk about it. We talked about kind of the mentality of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, at the end of the day with EDC, I mean, you're right. I mean, it's your brain. It's situational awareness. If you can avoid ever being in a situation where you need any of that stuff, then there you go. Yeah. There you go. And that requires no money whatsoever to do that. It's all brain power and, just being able to sidestep situations. Like Rogue said, if it's like, well, I know that my car's well maintained. I know that it's got plenty of gas. I'm not going to break down. I know I'm not going through a bad neighborhood. That sort of thing. Then, it's what is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure or something like that is what they say. So, try to hit things off at the past.
I like it. If there's someone out there that might be starting the whole mindset and all of that of EDC, and someone say, what are the bare essentials? The bare essentials. I'm going to tell you there are 5 things that I think that everyone should have, either on their person, in a bag, in their vehicle, somewhere they can always have access to it. It's heat, a heat source of some kind, food, water, light, and a knife. Those 5 things. You have a light and a knife that you can keep on your person at all times, or a multi-tool or whatever, something with an edge that you could utilize for whatever. But the biggest things for survival are heat, water, and food. You can go about 7 to 10 days without food.
Did he freeze, or is he just really good at? Yeah,
he froze for a second.
You said you can go about 7 to 10 days without food, and then you froze in this situation. Are we waiting on him? Are we waiting on him to? What's going on? Are we supposed to answer? What?
You can go a little bit about a week without food, but water you can go 3. You probably want to go much more than 3 to 5 days, but you can go a couple days without water. But and heat. The reason why heat, even if it's summertime. You think heat, I don't need a heat source for summertime. Well, you might have to boil water to make sure that it's safe to drink. You might have to cook something. You might have people don't realize you can get hypothermia without being frozen outside. All it is a dramatic drop in temperature very quickly can put your body into that hypothermic shock. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be like -20 to get heat is always good for a lot of reasons, but heat, food, water, a knife of some kind, and a light of some kind, whether it's a flashlight, a handheld, or a big one. You've got those. You can pretty much you should be able to adjust and adapt to be able to survive in a lot of ways. Those are the ones that say, if you're going to get then go get a knife, go get a flashlight, go get a case of bottled water, go get some canned food or some gummy bears or whatever, and go get you, worst case scenario, a package of Bic lighters, and those stay in your vehicle at all times or wherever, to where you've got those essential goods. Go ahead, Clover. You're going to say something, I think.
No, I was going to say, keep in mind too, when we talk about, your 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, whatever it might be. Yeah. That's assuming you're sitting in one place and not trying to go find water or food. And it's like, if you're trapped somewhere, I guess situations exist where that's a possibility. Mm-hmm. But, if you're talking about a situation where you're stranded, I mean, you're able to travel. Now, it's the brain power. You're going to have to remember, like, let's say you have to leave your vehicle to go find a creek, or leave your vehicle to go try to find some berries or something, right?
You better find a landmark to remember where
you need to be able to, you need to be good at orientation and know how to get back. Hey, I walked so many paces this direction, or hey, there's this big tree, or and the sun. You got to realize the sun changes depending on the time of year it is. So going by the sun doesn't always
morning
work.
or afternoon. Yeah, but if you know it's morning or afternoon, you're going to get an estimate of whether the sun was in the east or the west, and you can kind of figure out. Right, and it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's now 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so the sun should be on my left, going back. So you get a basic general idea of direction. There's all sorts of stuff but absolutely, use your mind is your biggest tool for survival, hands down. There is nothing stronger than a human's mind. All we're doing is asking you to actually utilize it. What was that movie? With I want to say it was Morgan Freeman and what's her name? Scarlett Johansson. It was like they only use like 2% of the brain, and there was like this drug that allows you to start expanding more and more and more. Well, that's this thing is if you're only going to use 2% of your brain, then let's use 3% of it and just use that extra percent to think about something that most people don't. So my daughter's out there. She just tried to call me. Now she's on here. She knows that this is how to get a hold of me right now. But yeah, what's going on, kiddo? Yo, what up, homie, home girl? But yeah, anything else, Rogue, Clover, that you guys want to bring up? We've touched on the last couple hours that we forgot to, or you want to expand on? No? All right. So it's been right at 2 hours. Thank you guys for watching. Rogue, and let you kind of tell people where they can find you, what projects you might have coming up, all that good stuff. Tell people who the hell you are.
I am a nobody. I just a little peon that lives in Montana, that just got running water and electricity.
Yep. Awesome.
So, but no,
water, but it's just running water, not hot water. Just running water.
Well, we do have to pump it. We have a hand pump.
So you get the well. That's
we get the well, and it's at 300 feet, so you got to pump a lot. So, my channel is the Rogue Banshee. You can reach me on YouTube. Just look for the Rogue Banshee. Actually, you can just Google the Rogue Banshee. You'll run into my website or my YouTube channel and all that type of stuff. I do gun content, and I have a video coming out on Friday. I had a little poll on my channel, and everybody wanted to see me take a file to a gun. So we're going to do a little gunsmithing on Friday's video. And since it's 4th of July, it's going to be on a classic American gun. So go check that out on Friday. But thanks for having me on. It's great. This was a great conversation.
It's going to be a Colt or a 1911. Those are my two guesses.
It will,
or a Colt 1911.
It could be both, but it's not.
Yeah.
But it is one of the two.
So I knew someone weird out there knew what I was talking about. A&A, leave the A&A, the weirdest motherfucker out there, says it was called Lucy. It was out in 2014. He knows that movie I was talking about. Oh yeah. No. What's up, A&A? Be safe out there. That's talking about a guy who's on the road a lot. I'm sure. I guarantee that he drives a truck out there. I guarantee you he's got plenty of stuff out there to be able to survive with. So let's bring Clover in. Clover, tell people who the hell you are. He doesn't do anything, so it's not like you need to go find him anywhere. But if someone was trying to find out like that you did something 2 years ago, where could they find you? And like if you were going to do something, what would it be?
Oh, I've done taking all my content down. I deleted my channel earlier this morning.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you haven't, sorry if you're late to the party, but yeah, I've officially retired, I think. No, I mean I'm
And we
everywhere.
thank you for that. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
Right. I'm everywhere. People know, they know where to find me.
Google Clover Tack, and you're probably going to find them.
Among other things you might not want to find, like Japanese gaming or something.
If you do Ghost Tactical, it's an eclectic mixture of what you're going to find in a Google search. A lot of airsoft, a lot of all sorts of war sim stuff, a lot of Tom Clancy video game stuff, and then we're kind of thrown in there too. So it is what it is. You got a show tomorrow night? You got anything coming up as far as podcasts you want to talk about?
Yeah, we'll do the Thursday night nerd chat. I'm sure.
It's only Tuesday. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thursday chat. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then there'll be a video drop on Sunday. I'm working on trying to get caught up, and eventually, once I can get caught up, I'll probably start doing double video drops every week. But got to get to a certain point first, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember this weekend, guys, is the 4th of July weekend. It is the weekend that we celebrate our birthday. Enjoy it. There's a lot of bullshit and a lot of stuff that goes on in our country right now. But as bad as you think your life is, and as bad as you think it is out there, I promise you, we're still the envy of the world. We're still the light of the world. We are still the greatest country in the world. And that sounds arrogant, but I promise you, you don't know how good you have it until you go somewhere where it's not America. My daughter says, I love you. I love you too. Peace out. Remember who we are. Remember that even on our worst day, we live like a king compared to other people. And our worst day, and as bad as politics has gotten, we're still the beacon of freedom in this world. We talk about this a lot, and I bring it up a lot, and Clover does. We talked about it, a year or two ago when Hong Kong riots were going on, and they were talking about freedom, and Hong Kong wanted to be free from China, and they were all of this. What did they use as a symbol of freedom? It was the American flag. So we are still America. We are not as bad as people say. Could it be better? Sure. We always want to strive for better things. But just remember, this weekend is the 4th of July. We get to celebrate, goodness gracious, 245 years, I believe. Is that right? 245 years? I believe that's right. 1776 to 2021. Yeah, 245 years. So enjoy that. Enjoy being American. Let's try to be better citizens out there. Let's try to help one another. If you see someone broken down on the side of the road, don't just drive by it laughing at them. You never know. You never know what the problem is. But be better citizens. Be one of the best lines that I ever heard. And it was from Marcus Luttrell in a speech that he gave. I don't remember where it was, but I saw it, listened to it, and they were talking about people thanking him for his service and thanking him for all of that stuff. And, what can we do to thank you for what you did? And he said, be a better American. Be someone that our troops overseas that are willing to sacrifice their lives. Be someone that's worthy of that. Be a better person in general, but be a better American. And I thought that was really, really profound that, says, how can we thank you for all that you've done? Be a better freaking American. Be able and be willing to put your differences aside politically with someone that's in need. Be a better person. Be a better American. Enjoy the birthday. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching live, thank you so much. Loved it. A great conversation. Thanks to Rogue. Thanks for Clover. Go check them out. It is a great conversation. If you're listening in podcast or watching replay, if you have any questions, utilize the comment section below. Most importantly, get out there, be more proficient with your firearms. Think about an EDC bag. Think about everyday carry and what it truly means. More importantly, be a better American. Until next time, Semper Fi.